glass and beams with steam curls toward the sky. There's a gnome with sparks behind his grin and trouble in his eye. His boots leave soot on polished floors, his coat's most faintly burned. For every spell he swears is safe, for some are wildly turned. He taps the staff on tabletops, the tankards start to hum. The chandelier begins to spin like gears that come undone. And perched upon the rafter rail with scales of ember bright, his dragon grins and fans a spark that flickers golden light. Hear the whistle keen and clear, hear the clanking chandelier. If there's peace within these walls, it won't be staying here. Raise the ruckus, ring the gears, fill the night with cheers and cheers. Wizard with the dragon flame, nothing here will stay the same. Stamp your boots and clap in time, let the steam and starlight climb. Laugh until the rafters shake, mischief starts to make. He swore the ale would glow a shade of harmless emerald hue. Instead it burst in silver sparks and dyed the barmaid blue. The mayor's hat grew feathered wings and circled overhead, while dragon smoke roared by around in glowing script of red. The crowd roared loud with pounding fists, no anger in their cry. For every prank the gnome was played, leave spirits lifted high. No locks are picked for wicked gain, no coin is wrongly won. Just harmless chaos, bright and bold beneath the boiler sun. Hear the button roll and pound, feel the floorboard shake the ground. When the dragon laughs in flame, joy is what we found. Raise the ruckus, ring the gears, fill the night with cheers and cheers. Copper sparks and clever schemes, nothing's ever as it seems. Tankards clash in bright delight, steam erupts in golden light. Sing it loud for all to hear, shenanigans are here. Market stall to dockside crane, from railcar roof to tower vane. They chase no throne, they seek no crown, just brighter smiles in every town. And if a clock explodes in bloom or smoke escapes a broom, you'll find the pair already gone with laughter trailing on. Raise the ruckus, ring the gears, fill the night with cheers and cheers. Wizard, gnome, and dragon bright, turn the dark to roaring light. Stamp and shout and spin around, let the steam and song resound. One more spark before we're through, the mischief just begun with you.
Just been rung, the kettles hissed with cheer, when through the door in drifting steam arrived our gnome sincere. His towering bronze hat tipped low, eyes hidden out of sight, yet sparks of mischief lit the room far brighter than the light. His robes were patched with copper thread and runes that softly gleamed, as though the fabric hummed with spells half whispered and half dreamed. Behind him scampered Scale Delight with messy midnight hair, a baby dragon clutching scrolls and charms with wizard flair. Just a glow, the gnome declared, harmless shimmer in the air. But dragon's grin grew wide and bright, something sparked in there. Sparks in the alehouse, sparks in the night, green gold glitter in lantern light. Raise your mugs and laugh out loud, we've enchanted half the crowd. Steam and song and clinking cheer, magic's bubbling over here. If your drink begins to shine, that's by design. The tankards fizzed with silver flares that danced above the foam, illuminating every face like hearth light brought from home. A barmaid spun in harmless glow, her apron dusted bright, while dragon sneezed a puff of flame that flickered teal and white. A sailor's boots began to tap against his own command. A scholar's quill wrote limericks he hadn't ever planned. No harm was done, no coin misplaced, no rafters burned away. Just laughter ringing brass and bold where gloom had held its sway. Hear the Bodron thunder roll, feel the magic take its toll. When the baby dragon grins, you know we've lost control. Sparks in the alehouse, sparks in the beams, nothing's quite as calm as it seems. Wizard tricks and dragon flare, glitter drifting through the air. Stomp your boots and spin around, let the gears and joy resound. If your shadow starts to dance, join the chance. A spell for cheer, a spark for fun, no villainy beneath the sun. Just harmless chaos finely spun from gnome and dragon, two in one. And when the glow begins to fade and calm returns to rafters made, you'll miss the shimmer, truth be told, the warmth within the gold. Sparks in the alehouse, sparks in the sky, lift your laughter, let it fly. Bronze-hatted gnome with hidden eyes, baby dragon full of surprise. Scheme and song forever bright, turning dull to dazzling light. One more spark before we're through, the glow belongs to you. Rolled it through the tavern door on squeaking copper wheels, a humming heap of piston springs and spinning silver reels. Behold, he cried beneath his hat that hid his knowing grin, a self-stirring stew contraption, taste perfection from within. The patrons leaned on wooden chairs, intrigued by whirring sound, while dragon peeked with shining eyes and circled all around. With messy hair and emerald scales that shimmered bright and keen, he poked a liver label, "Do not touch," in painted green. Click went cog and snap went chain, steam puffed out like summer rain. Someone shouted, "Duck your head," the pot began to strain. Oh, spin it round, let pistons fly, clockwork chaos reaching high. Stomp your boots and don't you run, it's all in good green fun. Gnome declared it's under control, dragon added extra cold. If it rattles, clangs or gleams, it's better than it seems. The kettle lid shot toward the beams, then froze midair in light, suspended there by glowing runes that shimmered blue and white. The spoons began to harmonize in clinks of careful tune, while bowls arranged themselves in rows beneath a floating spoon. No stew was spilled, no table cracked, no tavern met its doom. Instead the gears began to dance in perfect measured bloom. The dragon gave a tiny sneeze, green sparks adorned the stew, and suddenly it tasted twice as rich and warmly brewed. Hear the Bodron thump and cheer, nothing dreadful happening here. When the gnome says minor glitch, we simply volunteer. Oh, spin it round, let brass bells chime, tick and talk in perfect time. Lift your mugs and shout hooray, the dangers run away. Wizard robes and dragon grin, turning blunders into win. If catastrophe ticking clocks to steaming rails, from chimney tops to market stalls. They test the line where brilliance wails and laughter conquers all. For every spark that leaps astray, a brighter spark will stay, and every clang that shakes the floor brings one more tale to roar. Spin it round, let laughter rise, no real peril in disguise. Bronze-hatted gnome with hidden sight, baby dragon burning bright. Gears may rattle, steam may shout, but joy is what it's all about. Raise your tankards loud and fast, long live the harmless blast! Stood by the tavern door, with parchment scraps and scribbled maps and errands by the score. Our gnome stepped up on creaking crate beneath his towering hat, and pinned a sign in copper ink. Now what you think of that? Dragonfire for hire, read the letters bold and bright, for warming halls and kettles cold and lanterns late at night. Precision flame in measured bursts, no scorching beams or pyres. Reasonable rates negotiable, inquire for our fires. The dragon puffed a tiny spark, a glow in emerald arc, his messy hair in wild delight prepared to make his mark. Dragonfire for hire, bright and never dire, warm your stew or toast your bread, light the forge till sparks to spread. Stamp your boots and call his name, he's mastered every playful flame, safe and steady, bold yet mild, my dead, running wild. Running wild. A baker brought his stubborn oven, cold as winter rain. A watchman's torch refused to glow along the midnight lane. The dragon flapped his coppered wings, wool green with metal's sheen, and breathed a beam so finely tuned it shimmered soft and clean. The oven roared to life with cheer, the bread rose golden brown. The watchman's lantern gleamed so bright it lit the whole of town. No charred wood, no singed mustache, no smoke that choked the air, just tidy rings of swirling heat shaped like a wizard's snare. Hear the ball beat with pride, feel the tavern swell inside, when the baby dragon bows, stand there open-eyed. Dragonfire for hire, lift your mugs up higher. Bronze-hatted gnome collects the fee with grin no one can see. Steam and sparks in perfect ring, hear the fiddles laugh and sing. If your heart is running cold, ring the gold. Can ye light a signal flare?
I would flare beyond compare.
Can ye heat the mayor's tea?
With precise geometry.
From kettle spout to forge's core, from chimney top to tavern floor, he bends the blaze to care for l'art. A fiery, friendly heart. Dragonfire for hire, sing it like a choir. Wizard robes and dragon bright, turning cold to copper light. Gears may grind and steam may roar, but warmth is what we're working for. If you need a spark-inspired dragon,
end where steam vents sigh and copper kettles gleam, a wager rose on frothy mugs and half-concocted schemes. A burly smith with soot-streaked grin declared with booming tone, no trick or spark from hat or heart can melt my iron stone. The tavern hushed in eager hush beneath the lantern glow. Our gnome stood small yet steady where the golden embers flow. His towering bronze hat tipped low, eyes hidden out of sight, while dragon's emerald scales caught fire in playful light. Not melt said he with gentle sway, nor shatter stone away, but shifted stubborn mind a touch before the break of day. Oh, place your bets at boilers and let steam and laughter blend. Wizard wit and dragon spark and bend what will not bend. Stomp the floor and shout it loud, draw the boldest crowd. If iron thinks it's far too tough, we'll call it bluff. The smith produced a chunk of ore as heavy as a gate, and slammed it down with a ringing sound to demonstrate its weight. No heat nor spell nor dragon's breath has marked it since its birth. He boomed beneath the creaking beams that shook with tavern mirth. The gnome traced runes in curling light along the iron seam, while dragon breathed a slender thread of emeralding steam. Not fierce nor wild nor blazing bright, but tuned with careful art, a whisper flame that tickled deep within the metal heart. The ore began to hum in tone like distant kettle song. Its edges curled like softened wax, though firm it stood so long. Not melting down in molten pool nor breaking into shards, but bending in a courteous bow before the tavern guards. Hear the bodhran beat in glee, see the iron bend its knee when mischief's guided carefully. It's art, not sorcery. Oh, place your bets at boilers and raise your monks, my friend. Dragon flame and wizard rhyme make stubborn metals bend. Clap your hands and spin around, let the pipes resound. If doubt is thick as chimney soot, we'll give it foot. Was it heat, the smith declared, or clever words someone inquired? A bit of both, the gnome replied, with dragon skill applied. For brute force fails where wit prevails, and sparks that softly play can shift the hardest iron mind without a shard astray. Place your bets at boilers and where steam and smiles ascend. Bronze-hatted gnome with hidden eyes, baby dragon wise. Iron bows and now takes flight, laughter blazing bright. One more round before we part, for cunning is an art. Marched with polished boots and medals shining white. His stovepipe hat rose tall and stiff with pomp he could not hide. He spoke of rules and quiet nights and curfews after 10, while tavern folk exchanged a look that said, oh, not again. Our gnome stood small beside the bar beneath his towering brim, his bronze hat hiding any sign of what might trouble him. The dragon twitched his messy hair and grinned from ear to ear, for something sparkled mischievous when boredom hovered near. Just a puff, the gnome proposed, a harmless bit of show. The dragon's emerald eyes replied, oh yes, let's make it glow. Smoke in the mayor's hat, imagine, fancy that. Curling rings of silver steam escaping where he sat. Lift your mugs and Watch the gears align. If pump begins to overflow, we'll add a little glow. Hey! The mayor droned of ordinances etched in iron ink, of silence thick as factory chute and orderly as brink. Then from his hat there slipped a thread of swirling silver gray, a twisting coil of perfume smoke that drifted on its way. It formed a tiny dragon shape that winked above his head, then burst in harmless sparks of green and fizzled bright instead. The crowd held breath and laughter broke like steam from boiler seam, as Mayor swatted puzzled air that smelled of sugared cream. No scorch or singe nor ruin, pride beyond a ruffled plume, just gentle teasing fog that cleared the tavern's stuffy gloom. The gnome bowed low, the dragon waved with talons small and neat, and even Mayor cracked a smile at trick so sly and sweet. Hear the bar run, bounce and roll, see the mayor lose control. When laughter fills the rafters high, it warms the stiffest soul. Smoke in the mayor's hat, we all remember that bronze-hatted gnome, so calm and still while dragon plodded flat. Spin around and shout hooray, let the steam pipes play. If rules grow thick as chimney soot, we'll lighten what they put. Oh! The spell, the mayor cried. Was it flame? The crowd replied. The dragon shrugged with innocent face. The gnome kept perfect grace. For sometimes all a town requires is laughter in its wires, a harmless cloud to clear the air and lift the heavy cares. Smoke in the mayor's hat, no harm in any of that. Just silver swirls and emerald sparks where solemn words once sat. Raise your mugs and sing it loud, make the dragon proud. If ever gloom comes back to town, we'll spin it upside down. They call him small, they call him quaint, they call him half a threat, but no one leaves the tavern dry when he's not finished yet. Beneath the towering bronze-tipped hat his hidden gaze surveys 1,000 tiny clever plans in labyrinthine ways. His beard flows long like silver thread through robes of woven rune, each patch a story stitched in steam beneath the boiler moon. He taps his staff upon the floor, 3 sparks leap to reply, while dragon tilts his messy head and lets a giggle fly. Cards that shuffle on their own, coins that hum in gentle tone. You think you've seen it all, you haven't seen his throne. He's a gnome of 1,000 tricks, quick as gears and twice as slick. Snap your fingers, stomp your feet, watch the magic skip a beat. Dragon sparks in emerald streams, nothing's ever as it seems. If you blink you might just miss a trick like this. A sailor swore his compass spun by faulty northern star. The gnome adjusted just one rune, now north was never far. A gambler claimed his dice were cursed and blamed the dragon's tail. The dragon winked and breathed a puff that made the dice exhale. They tumbled slow as syrup song and landed fair and square. The gambler blinked in disbelief, no cheating in the air. For though they tease and twist a scene with playful sleight of hand, they never tilt the scale of fate beyond what's rightly planned. Hear the whistle leap and glide, see the steam coal twist and slide. When the dragon fans his wings, hold on for the ride. He's a gnome of 1,000 tricks, copper sparks and clever flicks. Spin around and shout his name, he's rewriting tavern fame. Baby dragon at his side, shimmering with wizard pride. If dullness dares to settle in, they'll stir it with a grin. From chiming clocks to market stalls, from fairy decks to factory walls, he leaves behind not wreck nor scar, just brighter tales of who we are. For every trick has gentle aim to spark a laugh, not kindle blame, and dragon's flame is finely tuned to warmth, not wild monsoon. Gnome of 1,000 tricks, hear the bold on kick and fix. Bronze hat tall and beard that flows, mystery nobody knows. Dragon bright with emerald fire, turning gloom to choir. Raise your mugs and shout it proud, he charms the crowd. Drums atop of roofs and whistles start to cry. The tavern doors swing open wide beneath the boiler's sky. And strides the gnome with steady pace, hat shadowing his face. His flowing beard and layered robes move with enchanted grace. Behind him hops a gleaming blur of emerald and grin. Messy black hair wildly tossed as dragon tumbles in. A satchel stuffed with scribbled notes and charms that softly chime, prepared for just the slightest nudge to tilt the gears of time. Tankards lifted shoulder high, steam rings curling to the sky. When those two share a glance, expect a bold advance. Tankard talons trouble bright, laughing sparks in lantern light. Stamp your boots and clap along, let the mischief make the song. Wizard small but daring tall, dragon dancing over all. If calm is what you came to see, that won't be. Scholar raised a toast to peaceful ordered nights, but Dragon's Tail knocked just one rune that shimmered into sight. The wall of gears began to hum in harmonizing tone, while Tankards chimed in ringing notes not wholly of their own. The gnome adjusted subtle threads of glowing copper script, so mugs refilled themselves with cheer each time a lip was tipped. No endless flood nor wasted brew, just perfect measured pour, enough to keep the laughter high and feed upon the floor. Hear the bar on beat and pound, see the wooden benches bound. When dragon spreads his tiny wings, better count your rounds. Your talons trouble clear, raise it louder year by year. Bronze-hatted gnome so calm and sly, dragon spark in emerald eye. Spin around and sing it proud, be the boldest in the crowd. If the night begins to tame, we'll fan the flame. Was it planned, a patron cried, or chaos amplified? The gnome just tapped his staff in time, the dragon beamed with pride. For every trick is tuned just right, no blaze beyond delight. They stir the brew of merriment and keep it burning bright. Tankard talons trouble grand, stomp the floor and clap your hands. Steam and song and shining cheer, best night of the year. Wizard wit and dragon spark, turning dull to dazzling art. Raise your mugs and sing it double, long live the trouble. Tankard talons trouble bright, laughing sparks in lantern light. Stamp your boots and clap along, let the mischief make the song. Wizard small but daring tall, dragon dancing over all. If calm is what you came to see, that won't be. They posted up new placards bright with polished brassbound seals. No spells after the ninth bell chime in bold mechanical reels. No dragons on the tabletops, no sparks above the bar. As though such lines could ever hold the pair we know they are. The gnome adjusts adjusted lated robes with stitched in glowing thread. His towering bronze hat dipping low across his hidden head. The dragon scratched his messy hair and gave a thoughtful hum, then tapped the sign with emerald claw. Well, now this could be fun. Grooves like gears too tightly wound, creak and groan and grind the ground. Sometimes all they truly need, a playful turnaround. Brass buttons and broken rules, laughter sharper than their tools. Stop the floor and sing it clear. Mischief's engineering here. Wizard small yet daring light, dragon blazing at his side. If a sign says don't you dare, we'll test it fair. No spell was cast to scorch the beam, nor scorch a single plank. Instead, the dragon breathed a spark that made the placard clank. The letters shuffled on their own and formed a brand new line. No spell, unless they're clever ones, and finish before 9. The tavern roared with stamping boots that shook the rafters high. The gnome just bowed with modest grace beneath his shadowed eye. For though the road remained intact, its edges soft and neat, now magic fit within its bounds in rhythm with the beat. Hear the bard run, laugh and roll, see the steam vents lose control. When dragon fans a gentle flame, he warms the strictest soul. Brass buttons and broken rules, turning boys to brighter tools. Spin around and clap in time, make the gears and whistles chime. Bronze-hatted gnome so sly and still, dragon spark with measured skill. If order stands too stiff and square, we'll add some flair. Who changed the sign? The barkeep cried, was it flame? Someone replied, the dragon blinked with innocent face. The gnome maintained his grace for laws that breathe are strong as still, when shaped by kindly will and sometimes bending just a hair. Make space for joy to fill. Raise your mugs, you clever fools. Steam and sparks in perfect blend, where order learns to bend. Wizard wit and dragon bright, turning strict to shining light. If ever gloom begins to build, we'll keep it real. Thick with copper haze and lantern shine and cheer. The gears along the tavern walls on blurry year by year. A whisper passed from bench to bench, from tankard down the line. The watch is making rounds tonight, best right before the chime. Our gnome stood steady, all the chair had shadow long and tall. His flowing beard, a silver stream that shimmered over all. The dragon perched beside his boots with emerald scales aglow. Messy hair and tousled beaks and eyes that stole the show. What's that fade on cobbled street? Metal rhythm marching beat. The dragon grinned and softly said, we've time for one more feat. One more round, beat all they knock. Let the whistles mock the clock. Raise your mugs and spin about. Let the steam and sparks burst out. Wizard small but spirit bred, dragon flame at his command. If the guards come tunes to make the moment last. The lantern light grew twice as warm, the music twice as sweet. The barber knew like rolling thunder under stomping feet. The dragon breathed a ribbon fin of shimmering emerald haze that rocked the room in glowing arcs of laughter-laced displays. Each tankard chimed harmonious notes in perfect tavern tune, as though the very pipes and gears were dancing to the moon. A lap ring firm against the door, 3 raps of iron hand. The music softened just a hair as all obeyed command. The gnome stepped down, adjusted a robe with stitched enchanted seam, while dragon perched upon his shoulder, calm as cooling steam. Hear the hinge begin to turn, see the watchful lantern burn it 4 to 6 to dim the glow and let it learn. Wumble around before they speak. Joy is not so weak. Bronze had it gnome with hidden eyes. Dragon small yet wise. Tankards raised in measured cheer. Nothing wild to the fear. If they ask what we have done, we'll say just fun. The guards stepped through, expecting sparks to chase. Instead they found a tidy hall with warmth in every face. A final spark danced overhead, then faded into it.